Hi and welcome back to Yoga Berry. Today I've got a short core activation practice for you. So important to keep the core really strong for really good posture if you're suffering from scoliosis. And it almost acts like a corset around the lower body and keeping it really stable. And then the upper body can be open and can relax a little bit more. And maybe if you're feeling a little bit shoulder tension and tension in the upper body, it could be that your core is just not strong enough to support your posture. So for today's practice, you will need a yoga belt with a D-ring or a belt from a bathrobe. Might be fine as well, but this one will be a little bit easier to use. And you will need a block. So get everything ready and then join me for this practice. My name is Christine Berry. I'm a yoga teacher and I specialize in yoga for scoliosis. Feel free to join my Facebook group, and I would love for you to leave me a comment underneath this video just to let me know how you get on, how you're enjoying the videos. It really helps me to keep me motivated and keep me going to create new content. So let's get started with our practice today. We're going to start lying on our back and just have your knees bent, just have your props somewhere close by. So just lying on your back, settling here for a few breaths. Enjoying that contact with the floor. You can close your eyes for a few moments. Just noticing which parts of the body are easily setting into the ground and which parts might need a little bit more time. You might feel a little bit of unevenness in the shoulder. Maybe one shoulder drops into the ground more than the other. Maybe one hip drops into the ground more than the other. And that's okay, just noticing this. We're not looking to change on any of this. You're perfect just the way you are, unless of course it feels uncomfortable. If you feel really uncomfortable here lying on your back, you might want to cover your yoga mat with a blanket just to soften it up a little bit. Otherwise, we're just going to start to slowly move the knees from side to side, just kind of waking up the lower body a little bit more. And just small movements, like a mini windscreen wiper, just rolling from one edge of the pelvis to the other. Coming back to center, bring the right knee in towards the chest, extending the left leg out on the ground. Flexing the left foot, and we're just going to create little movements here. So both hands are on the right knee. On the inhale, straightening the arms so the knee moves slightly away from you. Exhale, draw the knee in towards you. Inhale to straighten the arms, and then exhale, bring the knee in towards you. Good. Two more. Inhale, knee moves slightly away from you. Exhale, bring it in towards you. And last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then from there, we're going to bring the left knee in and taking the right leg out on the ground. Flexing the right foot, pushing through the heel. Same movement on this side. Inhale, straightening the arms. Move the knee slightly away from you. Exhale, draw the knee in towards you. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, bringing the knee in towards you. Good. Keep going. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. Exhale, bring the knee in towards you. Good. Inhale here. And then on the next exhale, we're going to change legs. So as the right knee comes in, the left leg comes out. Inhale to stay. Exhale, changing legs. Inhale to stay. Exhale to change. Good, so keep going and just noticing what's going on in your back. So ideally we want to keep the back in a really neutral position, so there shouldn't be much movement in the lower back. Inhale and exhale. So we're starting to wake up the core muscles a little bit more in this movement. Inhale, exhale to change. Good, keep going. Last one. Good, and then bring both knees in towards the chest, just rocking from side to side a few times. And then we're going to release the feet back onto the ground. Good. Take hold of your block. And we're going to put the block in between the thighs and the knees. And just let the feet mirror the width of the block. So if the block is like this wide, then the feet should be the same. On your next exhale, start to squeeze the inner thighs into the block. Inhale to release without dropping the block. Exhale, same thing. We're going to squeeze the inner thighs into the block. Inhale to release without dropping the block. Good. Keep going. So it doesn't, the slower you make this movement, the more that there will be happening. And it's not actually a big movement. It's just a activation of the inner thighs and of the core muscles as well. So just notice if there's anything going on in the abdominal area. And it's very subtle. It's the deep, deep muscles very close to the spine that we're trying to strengthen here. It's not the outer layers. It's not the six-pack muscles. Good. So squeezing in. If you can't feel anything, imagine that the hip bones are moving closer together on the inhale. On the exhale, sorry. On the inhale, you're releasing without dropping the block. Every effort is happening on the exhale. And the pelvic floor will also start to lift. Good. Last one. And we're going to keep the block there. We're going to take this into bridge pose. So squeezing the inner thighs together and then slowly lifting the hips off the ground. Squeeze the inner thighs. Inhale at the top and then exhale, slowly coming back down. Take a breath. Just releasing for a moment. Again, on the next exhale, squeezing the inner thighs together and then slowly lifting the hips off the ground. So you won't be able to come very far as you would sometimes maybe if you're doing this pose without a block, because we're really looking for strength, we're looking for stability here. So everything here in this area is working. Inhale at the top and then exhale, slowly coming back down. Good. Last one. Squeezing the inner thighs together, activating the core, and then slowly bringing yourself up. Good. Let's hold it there for a few breaths. Inhale, exhale, squeeze the legs. The glutes, you might feel the glutes starting to work as well. So this is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to get all those muscles in the lower body to start to work so they can support the spine. Good, and then slowly release. Okay, let's just put the block to the side. We won't need it anymore. Just moving the knees from side to side and releasing. Good. Let's release the legs for a moment. Bring the left knee in towards you, just drawing some circles with the knee around the hip joint one way and then the other way. And then changing sides. Right knee in. Again, use your hands to draw some circles with the knee around that hip joint one way and then the other way around. Slowly release. And then the next exercise we're going to do, we need to loop our yoga belt. So you might have to come up to do this, or otherwise, if you're quite familiar with your yoga belt, you would take it through the 2 rings and then back through 1. So you're creating this loop where you can just tighten the belt a little bit more. Or if you're taking a belt from a bathrobe, then you would tie it, but it might not have the same effect. So just try it out. If it doesn't work for you, then just come back to the block exercise. So if you're using the belt, put your legs through the belt, and then we're going to take the belt around the kind of halfway between the knees and the hips. Tighten the belt. And I'm actually taking it a little bit higher because we want to start squeezing the legs outwards now. So for the first exercise, we're squeezing the legs inwards into the block. Now we're taking them outwards, and the knees should not go very much further out than hip distance apart. So if they do, then you need to tighten your belt a little bit more. Good. So from here, just relax your arms. So on your next exhale, squeezing the legs outwards. Inhale to release. Again, squeezing the legs outwards. Very different action. So it's now the outer hips that need to start working a little bit more. Again, just notice if anything is happening in the abdominal area. Probably less than in the block exercise. But this is a great exercise if you're suffering from SI joint problems, so sacroiliac joint problems. This one is a great way to stabilize through that joint. So keep going. Every exhale, squeezing the legs outwards. Good. And then see if when you squeeze the legs outwards, can you keep the big toes really firmly down on the ground? And this is quite tricky. Good. Last one. Exhale. Good. And release. And let's release the belt. Bring the knees in towards you. Getting out of the belt, we'll just put it to the side. And let's take our core muscles to a little test. So just notice that curve in the lower back. So we want the lumbar curve to be there, to have that little part, that part of the spine that is arching away from the floor. When you bring your right knee directly on top of the hip, and then your left knee, and the shins are parallel to the floor. So you'll start the abdominal muscles. You'll feel them working, definitely. If it's too much, you can always bring the knees in towards you a little bit more, but otherwise keep them directly over the hips. See if you can relax the upper body, the shoulders and the neck a little bit more. Flex your feet. Good. So from there, we're going to add a little bit of a movement. We're going to lower the right heel down to the ground. The left knee comes slightly in towards you. Inhale, exhale, changing legs. Left heel comes down to the ground and the right knee comes in towards you. Always moving on the exhale. Inhale, exhale to change legs. Good, so keep going. It's a slow movement with lots and lots of control. So just notice that my legs don't change. So they're staying in this right angle. Inhale, exhale to change legs. Good, keep going. If you feel that you're getting tired, and for me it's actually, you might notice, it's quite hard to actually talk through this movement. If you feel that your muscles are starting to get tired and there's more tension coming into the upper body, then you need to take a rest. Take the knees in towards you, or just releasing the feet flat on the ground, just moving them from side to side a few times. So this is quite a strong exercise. Don't overdo it, especially if you're doing this for the first time. So maybe just 3 or 4 on each side will be more than enough, and you can slowly start to build it up. Always monitor yourself while you're doing the exercise. Does anything hurt? Does anything hurt afterwards? And is anything going on the next day? Obviously, achy muscles might be quite normal, and it might be a sign that something is happening and they're starting to strengthen, but you should never feel pain. Good, so let's do one more round. Bringing the right knee directly on top of the hip, and then the left knee. Good, notice how everything starts to fire up in the center of the body. Drawing the navel slightly back to the spine without flattening the curve in the lower back. And let's start that movement again. So lowering the right here, left knee slightly comes in. Inhale, exhale, changing legs. Left here comes down, right knee comes in. Inhale, exhale to change legs. Inhale, exhale, changing legs. Good, keep going, moving with your breath. So rather than following what I say when you should be breathing in or out, just following your own rhythm. Good, one more on each side. And then let's release, bring the knees in towards the chest, rocking from side to side. And then extend your legs. We're going to come into Shavasana from here. So take a few moments just to allow for the body to completely drop into the ground. So the core muscles can now relax. They have done their work. They're strengthening, but they equally need a little bit of rest now. So relaxing your abdominal area. See if you can send your breath into the belly. Every inhale, belly rises. And every exhale drops back. Just noticing, following that movement of the breath. You can imagine inflating a balloon. So every inhale, you're inflating that balloon. And exhale, you're releasing the air. So letting the body completely drop into the ground, letting go of any remaining tension in the feet, in the legs, in the hips, the belly, the chest, the shoulders, arms, fingers, the neck, the face, and the head. Good, and then slowly start to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Start to move your fingers and your toes. Take the arms up over the head, have a little stretch, and then slowly bending your knees. Roll yourself over to the side, stay lying on your side for a couple of breaths, and then slowly pushing yourself up into sitting. Good, so I really hope you enjoyed this little core activation video today. Obviously, once you're familiar with the exercise, you can kind of tailor them a little bit more to yourself. So where you can do as much or as little as seems right for your body right now. The last exercise was quite strong. So if you feel like your body isn't quite there yet, if you feel that it's causing pain, especially in the lower back, then that means your core muscles are not strong enough. Then stay with the first couple of things, especially the squeezing the inner thighs into the block until you feel a little bit stronger for the next ones. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for the next video.